In the realm of economics, few terms hold as much significance and intrigue as inflation. It's a term that frequently makes its way into conversations, news headlines, and financial discussions, yet its true essence might remain somewhat elusive to many. In this discourse, we will embark on a journey to demystify the concept of inflation, unraveling its meaning, causes, consequences, and ways to manage its effects, all while maintaining a balance between professionalism and approachability. At its core, inflation refers to the persistent increase in the general price level of goods and services within an economy over time. In simpler words, it signifies the diminishing purchasing power of money. This can be likened to a tug-of-war between money and the goods it can buy, where over time, money tends to lose its strength in acquiring the same quantity of goods and services. To better comprehend this, let's delve into the underlying mechanisms that give rise to inflation, the causes of inflation. Inflation doesn't just arise out of thin air, it's a result of a variety of interplaying factors. One fundamental factor is the increase in demand for goods and services. When the demand surpasses the available supply, producers often respond by raising their prices. This demand-pull inflation is akin to a bidding war for limited resources, ultimately leading to a general rise in prices. Conversely, inflation can also stem from cost-push factors, such as increases in production costs, wages, or the prices of essential raw materials. When businesses encounter rising expenses, they may transfer these costs onto consumers in the form of higher prices. The role of money supply. An essential player in the inflation narrative is the money supply, which refers to the total amount of currency circulating within an economy. When the money supply outpaces the growth of goods and services, it can foster inflation. This occurs because the increased availability of money prompts consumers to spend more, thereby increasing demand, which, as we've established, can lead to price hikes. Central banks play a pivotal role in managing the money supply through monetary policy, which involves tools such as adjusting interest rates and conducting open market operations. Inflation's impact. The consequences of inflation ripple across various aspects of an economy, affecting individuals, businesses, and policymakers alike. One of the most palpable effects is the erosion of purchasing power. As prices rise, the same amount of money can buy fewer goods and services, placing a strain on consumers' wallets. This phenomenon can be particularly taxing for fixed-income earners, such as retirees, whose incomes don't adjust in line with inflation. Businesses, too, grapple with the repercussions of inflation. The uncertainty it introduces can hinder long-term planning and investment, as predicting future costs and profits becomes challenging. Lenders and borrowers in financial markets also face uncertainties, as the value of money changes over time. Moreover, hyperinflation, an extreme form of inflation, can lead to economic instability, undermining confidence in the currency and disrupting the normal functioning of markets. Measures to tackle inflation. Controlling inflation is a delicate balancing act that requires the careful consideration of various factors. Central banks, as custodians of monetary policy, employ a range of tools to manage inflation. One of the primary mechanisms is adjusting interest rates. By raising interest rates, central banks can encourage saving and reduce borrowing, thereby dampening demand and potentially curbing inflation. On the other hand, lowering interest rates can stimulate spending and borrowing, which might be necessary during periods of low economic activity. Government fiscal policies also play a role in inflation management. By altering taxation and spending patterns, governments can influence demand and supply dynamics. A prudent fiscal policy can aid in maintaining a stable price environment, the nuances of expected inflation. An intriguing facet of inflation is the notion of expected inflation. People's expectations of future inflation can significantly impact their behaviors and decisions today. For instance, if individuals anticipate high inflation, they might rush to spend their money sooner rather than later, fearing that its value will erode rapidly. This behavioral element can, in turn, influence the actual trajectory of inflation. Central banks closely monitor and manage these expectations to keep inflation in check. Inflation, a multifaceted economic phenomenon, is best understood as the gradual erosion of purchasing power due to a general rise in the price level of goods and services. Its causes can range from increased demand and production costs to fluctuations in the money supply. The consequences of inflation encompass altered purchasing power, economic instability, and uncertainties for businesses and individuals alike. Skillful management by central banks and governments, through tools like interest rate adjustments and fiscal policies, strives to strike a balance between maintaining a stable price environment and fostering economic growth. In navigating the intricacies of inflation, it is crucial to recognize the role of expectations and perceptions as they intertwine with its real-world impact. As we continue to grapple with the ebb and flow of economic forces, a clear understanding of inflation equips us with the knowledge to make informed financial decisions and engage in meaningful discussions about the ever-evolving economic landscape.